Hey guys, welcome back to MDCU News. The third episode of Wandavision has arrived, and it has given us a much better understanding of what's going on in the mysterious town of Westview. So this week we open up with a 70s Brady Bunch inspired intro, and we see the same hexagonal shapes that came up in the end sequence for last week's episode. And this six-sided shape may be a reference to the six Infinity Stones, the Mind Stone being the most direct connection to both Wanda and Vision, which we actually see plays a more prominent role in today's episode, but more on that later. In this opening scene, we're introduced to Dr. Nielsen, who is checking up on Wanda, and it's very obvious that Vision is much more confused about the happenings of this pregnancy than Wanda is, which sets up our first clue of Wanda knowing more than she lets on. Dr. Nielsen then mentions that he's leaving town for vacation in Bermuda, and I think it's interesting that they chose Bermuda, an island with a notorious past of mystery, disappearance, and shapes. So that seems like a reference to the same type of mystery we see here in Westview. And Dr. Nielsen's inability to leave is then foreshadowed by yet another commercial starring the same two characters from the past ones. This time, they're advertising a special Hydra soap. Again, not too clear on what this is about, but it's definitely something that's all going to come together by the end of the series. And this next point is not so much of significance, but when Wanda knocks over the bowl of fruit, Vision uses his super speed to catch the papaya right in front of Wanda's stomach, indicating that she is now 5 months pregnant as per Dr. Nielsen's pregnancy fruit chart thingy. So, for the next couple of scenes, we see Wanda struggling with contractions, and with each of these contractions, something around the house goes haywire. And at first, she says, "Did I do that? I didn't mean to," which on the surface shows that maybe she is in control of her powers, but I think this is really an indication that Wiccan, aka Billy, her child, is starting to demonstrate some of the reality warping powers that he inherited from his mother. Then, once the lights go out, Wanda asks Vision whether he thinks the neighbors know that it's her fault. And again, on the surface, it may seem like she's referring to the power outage, but we've seen that this show loves double entendres. So this also can be interpreted as her wondering whether the neighbors know it's her fault that they're all trapped in this sitcom reality. And again, Vision agrees and he starts to recognize that there is something wrong with their reality. And immediately the scene cuts back to the beginning of the conversation, the same exact way it did last week when the beekeeper was found. So it's clear that Wanda is trying her very hardest to make sure that Vision remains completely unaware of the fact that this world that they're living in is in fact a fake reality, in order so that she can continue to live in this perfect little world. So Wanda then has another contraction and Vision goes off to fetch Dr. Nielsen. And then we see Geraldine come to visit Wanda to talk about her new promotion and ask for some office supplies. And then we're introduced to Mr. Stork, who Wanda continuously tries to get rid of but fails. And the fact that she can't control this new creation again points to the fact that she wasn't the one who caused it, the real culprit being Billy, who seems to be manifesting his powers in the form of her contractions. So Wanda then goes into labor with the help of Geraldine, and Vision returns with Dr. Nielsen, whose attempt to escape from Westview failed, as he says that it's so hard to escape, which once again makes Vision suspicious. And when Vision goes to meet the first child, Tommy, we see that it's now the Mind Stone, which transforms his face between disguises and his true form, rather than Wanda, who did it in the first episode when he was leaving to work. So we see that Vision is either growing in his control over the stone, or the stone itself is becoming more powerful. Okay? So then we see Vision's suspicions get even worse when he sees the secretive conversation between Herb and Agnes in their front yard. And if you add the subtitles, you can see that Agnes is questioning Herb about Geraldine going to visit Wanda. And when she talks to Vision, Agnes emphasizes Geraldine's lack of a husband as a reason why she's a suspicious character, since everyone else in Westview is married, or appears to be, since we never actually see Agnes' husband Ralph, which makes me think that he doesn't actually exist. And the constant jokes and references she makes to Ralph is a ploy she's using to try and throw anyone off her trail who may become suspicious of her for not having a husband. This lack of a husband once again shows that Agnes isn't quite like the other Westview residents. Back inside the house, Wanda and Geraldine are looking over the twins, and Wanda finally references her dead brother Pietro, which triggers Geraldine to remember the world outside of Westview, specifically that Pietro was killed by Ultron, which sends Wanda completely into attack mode, and she tells Geraldine that she should leave, but then she recognizes the sword symbol on her neck as the same symbol from the helicopter and the beekeeper's suit and asks her what it is. So this shows that sword is either something relatively new within the world of the MCU or it's more of a covert operation if Wanda, a whole Avenger, is not familiar with it. Because all she knows is at this point is that everything relating to the symbol has been trying to ruin her perfect little life here that she's created in Westview, and thus she sends Geraldine flying out of this pocket reality. Now, when Vision returns back inside, he asks Wanda what happened to Geraldine, and Wanda, with this stone cold stare in her eye and this creepy background music, hides the truth from Vision once again and tells him that she simply went home. So, this is a major scene. So, from what we can tell, Wanda is in fact the one who is in control of this pocket reality and has been manipulating Vision into believing the lie while also playing coy and saying she just wants to fit in, as if she isn't the one who created this sitcom reality and has held all these bystanders hostage as dolls in her little dollhouse. And with this new information, this suggests that Mephisto, Grim Reaper, Nightmare, or whoever is the big bad in charge of Agnes isn't the controller of this pocket reality, but rather sent Agnes in to try and recruit Wanda to the dark side or drain her of her powers, the same way that Sword had sent in Monica, aka Geraldine, to try and get retcon about the situation or to pull Wanda out of this pocket reality as well. This would explain why neither of them, Agnes nor Geraldine slash Monica, seem to have husbands, and it's also why out of all the neighbors, they're the only ones that have taken a keen personal interest in Wanda. Whew, so that's all my theories and breakdowns for today's episodes, and I hope that all of you watching this can do me the honor of hitting that subscribe button to stay up to date with all the latest and greatest of MCU and DCU content, including my same-day breakdowns of each new episode of Wandavision. So, there's been a lot of news and updates surrounding the Black Panther sequel, so on Monday I'll be putting out my next video with all the information we have on that, so I hope to see you guys there. Peace.